Hello again. And I'm pleasantly interviewing Nicole here on her monetizing of her wander gene. So, Nicole, tell us your story and how you can make money at your passion here of wandering.
Oh, thanks, Christine. It was so fun talking to you the other day, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know that you could do that." And so, again, let's just go back to the improv. Yes, and see what happens. Um, so, I've always, like I talked about in that first time we talked, really just felt really drawn to wander. And as a kid, we went to so many different places in the United States because my dad built the power lines. And so we would go from one end of the power line, build it, go to the next, and go to the next. And so we were constantly moving. And then a friend of mine at work, I had never thought of going abroad. And a friend of mine at work, she did the Rick Steves backpacking in Europe thing. You
No, I
familiar with Rick?
haven't. Mm-mm.
Oh, Rick Steves is amazing. He look him up on YouTube. He's got all the different channels of everything. And he talks about all the hidden gems and a lot of tips and tricks. And there's also, if you're not familiar with him, the points guy. And he deals with getting points from airlines and hotels and stuff. So I'm going to kind of weave those two things in a bit today. So I naturally was born to wander. I knew that. And as I mentioned, I was teaching college online and I was doing that horrible chair thing that I hated so much, all administrative stuff. And I took that bonus money, $1,500, and decided to go because Catherine had gone to Rome and Paris and London. I thought, well, maybe I'll go to those three. Oh, Kaya wants to say hi today.
Oh, and while you're saying hi to, I have to give you a little thank you also for my gift that I received. And so this is what we designed together, and what you designed, but mainly too. But they arrived yesterday, so super comfy, love it. So thank you for helping design it and putting it all together and making it a reality.
And when I work with someone like you, a collab on a piece, then I typically name them after the person that inspired it. And you'll be in the collection inspired by. Also, that one's a graphic Wander Gene piece of merch because it's way more graphic than what I normally do. And I'm trying to find out, do people like things more graphic, just more plain words? And it's so funny because you and your daughter, complete opposite of what you want to. Hers is tiny little words, and yours is the biggest graphic I've done. So
Oh.
um, I'm, I'm always open to what things would look like. And then I have the two different logos that I'm working with. You have that one, the WG with the words Wander Gene. And
Mhm.
then I have like what I had on the other day, which is the more script with a swoosh under it.
And I love the
And
shirt you have on today too, incorporating,
London, the UK has my heart, which I just did a blog post today about Hungary, which we'll talk a little bit about that today
I
too.
saw that. Yeah.
But London, I love live theater, probably more than anything. I love live theater, and it just doesn't get any better than the West End. New York, Broadway's great. I also, maybe it's the accents. I don't know. I'm a sucker for an accent. So I've spent a lot of time in London. And so I was working on a concept here of combining two country or state flags with the Wander Gene. And this is custom made by me here at my factory home.
Yeah.
And it is a block. So it's like a velvet.
Okay.
And ADD people like texture. And so I'll just be sitting around rubbing on the heart. And I'm like a genie, let me get back to London. Let me get back to London, which I am getting back to
Keep
London sooner than
manifesting.
later. Yeah, I'm getting there sooner than later. So I'm really excited. Um,
So that
so
AD kicked in, Coyote came in the picture. Now we're totally off track of where we were.
yeah, yeah, that's the Wonder Gene.
So,
See, it's alive and well. So how do I make money? Well, the shirts that we're talking about, that's my latest adventure of trying to wear our wander. I everywhere I go, notice how many people have something on their clothes. even people that say, "Oh, I don't wear people's merch or logos," or so they'll have like little Ralph Lauren little. Is that the horse? That's the horse, isn't it? And so people like to wear who they are. And so that's how this got started with Wear Your Wander. And I was just making myself some things that I could wear through the airports and stay warm on airplanes and things like that. So that's my latest. And maybe we'll circle back around to that toward
Right.
the end or another episode. But the first foray into my travel was using money that I made from teaching online and namely working as a chair in the department. And I thought of that whole Rick Steves because Catherine had done that. And so it was back before the Google and the Instagram and all that. There, you couldn't just look up TikTok, great places to go. And I got these little books and I ran across them the other day in my room. They had a little map that you could pull out in the back, and I got London, Paris, and Rome. I got the three books and I carried those with me. And I just traveled all over. While I was traveling, I was working. So I was able to teach college online while I was doing my travels. And at that time, I exclusively worked online, and I worked for up to 5 different colleges and universities at the time. So this decision I made to get my PhD, but you can teach with a bachelor's and a master's, but it's a lot easier when you have the PhD. I looked up, it said you needed a terminal degree, and I'm like, what the hell is a terminal degree? I don't even know what that is. I had my internet cafe at my coffee shop, so I did Google that before I started my PhD, and it said whatever the highest, I mean, you guys all know this, but whatever the highest degree is in the field, like with art, it's usually an MFA, a Master's of Fine Arts. So the qualifications to become faculty are different depending on your discipline. And so I rode that out quite a bit. I went to Europe, I'd say 5 times over a few year period, right around when I met you. I had gone maybe once or twice before I met you. And then after that, I started going more. But at the time, I was working exclusively online, so I could go whenever I wanted. And there were no barriers then about working outside of the United States and not paying taxes in this country you're working in. You have to be very careful about that, because if you're on a tourist visa, you're a tourist, you're not a worker. And even if that work is in the United States. Did you know that?
No, that's interesting. So good tip for all of our listeners.
There's a lot more nomads now. And so people that want to work digitally and they're working in other countries, and the countries now, because of all the algorithms and lack of privacy that we've given away by accepting all these agreements with all the social media and stuff, they can actually track you and see through your IP address that you are conducting commerce in another country. So you do need to be careful about it. You need to check to see if they have like some countries have digital nomad visas that you can get,
Mm.
that you can actually go live in a country that for Americans, you just can't go live in the UK if you want to. You have to get a
Work
visa if you're going to go longer than their maximum. The EU, you can work 90 days or live, sorry. You can be there 89 days and then you have to leave out of the whole EU.
Mhm.
And so some people are doing what's it called, the Schengen Shuffle.
Mm.
And the Schengen zone is a lot of the EU, not all of it, but a lot of the EU countries have an agreement that you can go from one country to the next without going through passport controls. So when you're in the Schengen zone, but you can only be in that zone for 89 days, then you have to leave it.
Okay.
And
I think
the
Lauren
Schengen
might know
Shuffle,
a little bit about that. My daughter might know a little bit about that. Yeah.
that she probably would.
Yeah.
And in the UK, you can be there for 6 months. And their rules, now that they've left the EU, the rules make it actually a lot easier if you want to go stay abroad for a while. So that had been my goal for a while. So for a number of years, I was just teaching college online. And then I got my TOEFL certificate, teaching English to foreign language learners.
Okay.
And my passion is Europe. I haven't been to Asia, but I probably will get there. But there's so much still that I want to explore in Europe. It tends to be more my heart. My sister, Sandy, she is passionate about China. She just
Mm.
loves Asian countries. She's been on cruises that take her to China, Japan, all different places. She was a missionary and lived in Taiwan for a year. So, family wanderers.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then I started, I got my TOEFL certificate and I got scammed. I was on a Skype. You remember Skype
Yeah.
before Zoom? I was on this Skype call with an organization in Spain, and I was getting offered the opportunity to go work for this language school in Spain. And I was so stoked. And all of a sudden, I start seeing these messages pop up on my screen. It's my sister saying, "It's a scam. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And
Mm.
I was already advertising to sublet my apartment. This must have been right before I met you. And it turned out it was someone that hijacked their website. The school was real, but somebody hijacked their website and they were offering people these jobs. And
Yeah, you just have to
I,
be so careful. Yeah,
yeah, you got to really
do your
check
homework.
what's going
Yeah.
on. Dave's ESL Cafe is a very well-known and reputable site. Um, I don't think I've ever had a scam situation there. I mean, you still got to check, but Dave's ESL Cafe is a great place to find a job teaching English as a foreign language. A lot of countries want you to have at least a bachelor's if you're going to go teach English there. Not all of them, but it's easier. And something interesting is that a lot of places like couples, because frequently your transportation and housing is all included in the deal because you don't get paid very much cash, but you get
Mm.
those types of things. And so when they can get a couple, you can both teach English and they only have to pay for one accommodation.
Right. Yeah.
So I was so disappointed after that scam situation. Ended up subletting my apartment, part of it to you guys, and then all the way to you. Moved over to Oahu, started working for a university full time, and I just thought, well, I don't trust this. This is lame. So I still, would get bored and click on things and see what was available. And I ran across the Eastern Central European CEPT. I'll have to CETP, Central European Teaching Program. I'll have to double check that. But it was a place that you had to pay money, but they would place you. And so I got placed in Hungary, and I didn't want to go to Hungary at all because I liked Spain and France and Italy and England, the ones I knew. And
Mhm.
but it was close to Croatia where my family was from. And I thought, well, okay, maybe I'll do that. And I then couldn't go, had to cancel everything, some family crisis situation, and put on hold again. And I'm still teaching online and on ground. Fast forward, I moved to Florida finally from Hawaii, and I sitting there in my little condo by myself in South Florida, and I thought, wonder about that Central European teaching program. It had been about a year since I had had to turn it down, and it was like 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave, I turned it down. And I wrote to them, and it was like mid-year, and they said, yeah, we can get you going here in like 2 weeks.
Well,
I'm like, what?
yeah.
What? Really? Oh, okay. So I took the opportunity and I went mid-year, and they started saying, and I was still a little skeptical. I was skeptical just like you guys showing up at my door. I was skeptical until I walked into my flat in Budapest. I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
Um, and so I
But
just
off
told all
you
my
went.
friends, oh,
Off you went. So,
I'm going to give it a try. So I get there, and they had sent me pictures of the flat, and I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And then they had somebody pick me up at the airport, and I'm like, okay, I hope I'm going to somewhere good.
yeah.
And they say, I can't come in, but here's the keys and go on up. And I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And I go on up, and sure enough, that was my flat. And I lived there and taught in Hungary. And they provided my flat, which was in a fabulous part of Budapest. And it's kind of hard in some of these places because my flat alone cost probably more than most people made to teach at the school. I worked at a private school, and they had people in to teach English, but then they also had all the other subjects. And I know that the wage there was probably about what just my flat cost. Plus, they paid me about the same amount of money. And I got the Hungarian healthcare coverage completely. And I got a residency card, so I could go anywhere in the EU that I wanted to go and stay as long as I wanted to stay. And I went to probably 10 different countries while I was working there. On weekends, I would go. And they offered for me to stay on, and I could have become a permanent resident.
Oh, wow.
And I was still teaching college online, so I had enough money to pay my bills back home because I wasn't sure of it. I didn't plan ahead real well. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that, I had a home to go back to.
Yeah, right. Home
And
base. That's all good.
yeah, yeah. So that was teaching English as a foreign language, and
And,
that
and if
worked
I could,
out.
yeah, if I could jump in there too, because I have a niece who she graduated valedictorian of her high school, but then went on to her college or undergrad in linguistics. And so she taught English abroad. I think she started out in France, but she's working on her master's or doctorate now. But traveling Europe extensively through these programs, and I could find out more about that. But she actually is also kind of doing what maybe you did too. But she taught English to foreign countries, and then like she spent I don't know, good 6, 8 months or more in Malta. Just beautiful pictures I've seen there.
Mhm.
So again, like she's really, I mean, she spent time in Germany. I don't even know where she is right now. I'd have to find out. But she's just really traveled extensively, being a teacher, and then working on her doctorate now too. It's a paid program through,
Mhm.
I don't know, I could find out more on that too. But again, that offers the wanderer gene some opportunities to wander, make money, pursue your career, and see the world. So
Right. Yeah,
definitely
that's all it's very doable. And I think the younger people, and I don't, we're just as old as we feel, whatever, on any given day.
number.
But I think a lot of people, hitting that 40s to 50s, that this hopefully will speak to them, because a lot of times I think we feel like we've aged out of opportunities. And there are some opportunities teaching English where you can't be more than 30 years old. It's just a rule for them to be able to give visas to people. But if you're willing to go to other countries like Czech Republic, Hungary, Croatia, Romania, beautiful, beautiful. I thought it was Eastern Europe, and they rebranded after the fall of the wall, and it's called Central European countries. So I got corrected on that right quick. So I learned a lot about geography that I didn't know, all these different things. And
That's
but
my
people,
weakness, though. Geography
but
is
go
my
see it
weakness.
and you'll remember it.
But
If
yeah,
you go there, I bet you'll know. But I was 55 years old when I went.
okay,
So,
good
and I
number.
met other people in my age bracket too that had just gone there. There was a husband and wife that had gone there. Then I met a young gal, and she just recently, I was following her. She was in the Tonga on a Peace Corps trip, and met her soon to be husband. And so any of those opportunities like that exist. And I think the youngest people in our generations know more about it, but people in our age bracket, there are so many things that can be done. And some of us kind of transition to more like where I'm at now. I don't know if I would go do another contract like that. You know, could easily see myself doing it, but right now I'm trying to get retirement through our public school system, and I have a couple more years to work. So it depends on the health and everything in a couple of years. But I still have that urge to wander. And like I said, I work in the public school system, so I don't make a lot of cash, still teach college online. So I started playing the points game. And you have to be super careful. You have to be very disciplined. That if you have a credit card, if when you get a credit card, they'll give you bonus points for spending a certain amount of money in a short period of time, like 50,000 miles. Or one card I got recently, I got 100,000 miles on the card after spending, I think, $3,000. So what I do is I move all of my monthly bills that I can use a credit card for and have that automatically taken out, and then I just pay it immediately. And so then I earn those points. And then with those points, I can get hotels, airfare, cruises, anything like that. And I've had at least, I'd say, 8 to 10 trips to Europe off of points. And one
Nice.
of the cards I had recently, I saw that they would convert my points to money. And so I had gotten a bunch of bonus points over, I had 111,000. They gave me 1,100 cash dollars. So,
Yeah. So way to go.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you just have to be real mindful of what the rules are, what the interest rate. You don't ever want to hold those balances because that's what they want you to do.
Yeah. Well, and I think I had heard like opening too many credit cards can actually hurt your credit. So do you
Mhm.
open up multiple credit cards or you just kind of go pick one and stick with it? Because I know like you can sign up for, oh, we sign up for this new credit card. We offer you, X amount of bonus points or X amount of whatever. So the temptation is there always for me to be like, okay, sure, I'll open a new credit card. But then I've kind of gotten away from that because I do think too much credit can hurt your credit and, opening
Right.
and canceling cards and things can.
You have to be wise. And so far, my credit rating is up at 800. So it
Oh,
hasn't
perfect.
hurt me.
Yeah. Good.
But I'm very disciplined to pay off the cards. I do
Yes.
not, or I'll take their zero interest opportunities that I get. But I'm mindful of how many I have at one time, and then I'll cancel a card, but never, ever, ever, ever cancel your oldest credit. Never. Don't make that mistake. That will destroy your credit because your credit length is important. Your credit utilization is important and how many hits you've had against it on inquiry. So I probably do a card a year and
Okay.
then I use them for their miles and then I cancel the card.
Yeah.
And I've actually had 2 Hawaiian Airlines cards bonuses. I cycled back through a second time.
No,
Um,
good for you.
and they offer it. I'm just playing by their rules. It's not ideal for everybody, but it's a way for me to make an extra few $1,000s a year in value that I can apply toward the travels that I do.
Mm.
And then another thing is teacher pay teachers. So those that have some sort of skill or craft, people write curriculum, make posters, and do lesson plans and stuff for teachers, and they sell them on a site like Teacher Pay Teacher. And I have someone that I'm setting up an interview with. Hopefully, you and I can interview her next week, and she's
Okay.
big into that one.
Fun.
And travel agent, you can sign up to be a travel agent, and I did that. And you get to go on what's called FAM trips, familiarization. You get deeply discounted rates. Like you could take a FAM trip on the Danube River in a river cruise, those really beautiful river cruises for like $1,100
Mm.
on a FAM trip. If you were to buy that as an individual, it'd be $4,000 to $5,000 for that same trip.
Right.
And then you could use your miles to get you there. So
Mm. Yeah.
using creative solutions like that, I think, can work for a lot of people. You just have to have a lot of time and energy, which, the ADD do. And
Yeah.
then just now what I'm hoping to do is get more wanderers onto my Wander Gene website and watching our Wander Gene Travels
More.
podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. More subscribers on our YouTube channel and or your yeah.
yeah, and
And it's funny when you talk about like travel, but my oldest sister. So again, I think the wanderer gene is prevalent in your family as well it is in mine because my oldest sister, she actually graduated from Niagara University with a degree in TTT, which is travel, tourism, and transportation. So little did I even know back then, college years, that you could get a degree in that. So again, if travel and wandering is your thing, you can get a degree in TTT. So
I'd be curious if people watching this comment and come join our Facebook group. It's called, the Facebook group is The Wander Gene. It's in our DNA. And then I have my Instagram, which is at The Wander Gene. And I have X and TikTok and that too. It's the same basic name. But I'm curious to hear what other ways that people have monetized their
yeah.
travel.
Well, and again, as you know, my daughter is married now to a kind of professional hockey player. So sports offer you all kinds of ways to see the world. I mean, she's traveling with him and following him around, but luckily she works remote. So again, remote offers you time to travel, sports, and like you say, I'm sure there's going to be other ways people have thought of that. Hey, this was a great way I got to see the world. So
My daughter, I forgot about that. She had a boyfriend that ended up playing basketball I think he started in Spain, ended up in Greece, and got married in Greece. And they weren't boyfriend and girlfriend anymore by then. And has a child and is permanently in Greece now.
well,
So sports
again,
definitely took him there.
yeah,
And lots of different ways to go about it if you want to do it. Because
right,
what's sad to me is so many people, they're like, oh, I wish I could do that.
right. Where there's a
Well,
will, there's a
I
way. So I do
I
think,
just
you know,
one of the things I like to say is goals are just dreams with feet.
there you,
You can hope something all day long, but unless you take action on it,
right.
then it's going to get you nowhere. And who would have thought at 55 years old I was going to be flying to Budapest and working there for a season and freezing my butt off when I got there. Um, but it's led to so many things, and I'm still in contact with all those people. And then I was able to take my daughter and granddaughter there a couple of years ago, and to see where I lived while they watched my dog
Yeah, there
here
you
in
have.
Florida.
I
Yeah,
know.
so that's
Fun.
that's really some of the great things I've done, and I'm looking forward to possibly interviewing some other people to find out what kinds of things perhaps they've done.
Yeah, no, exciting. And yeah, thank you for your time today. That was, great hearing about your stories and how you've been able to monetize and get your wanderer gene kind of, keep it going, I guess, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have another guest on hopefully, and we'll do part 3 of monetizing your wanderer gene.
One of the things that two real quick things. Sorry, I thought I was done. The one I mentioned that's the travel
Take
agent.
2.
She does group trips,
Okay.
and so we'll talk to her about she hosts group trips. So everybody else pays for her trip, and then I know people that love to cruise and they capitalize on the casino deals. My sisters, for 2 years, stayed on cruises basically and
Well,
got suites and the best possible rooms for free because they wanted to get you onto that ship. And there really is no minimum that you have to gamble. But again, you've got to know
discipline.
who you are because it could
Yeah.
cost if you just paid the fare for the cruise. But they've traveled all over the place and had a great time on cruises
Right. So
on the casino rate.
there's definitely freebie ways kind of to get around, but again, the discipline, like you just said, is important because you can get on probably a gambling cruise ship or whatever and then lose your life savings too. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
discipline is definitely the key there. And yeah, but again, if you can discipline yourself and stay true to true to yourself and things that there are definitely ways to get around.
I think so. Well, this has been exciting. I've been looking forward to talking about some of the things I've done, and it
Yeah.
was super fun talking to you last time of your adventures. And when
Well,
Brittany
thanks.
comes on, we'll
Yeah.
um,
Hear
talk to her
more.
because she has 50 different channels of
And here
how
comes
she.
Kaya I see Kaya through your door there. He's coming to say goodbye too. But yeah,
Yeah,
I hope we get some subscribers and some likes and we'll keep this going as much as we can.
great. Thanks,
So, all
Christine.
right, thanks, Nicole. Take care. Bye.